Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. I got another Master Duel video for you, coming at you with some Blue Eyes gameplay. Was recently sorting some playlists on the channel, and in the process of doing that, I realized I've only ever uploaded 2 videos about Blue Eyes, so decided to give this deck another trial. I think a lot of the reason I haven't come back to Blue Eyes more often is that I do find the gameplay to be a little bit repetitive. The combo line is pretty typically played out the same way just about every time, except for the way I'm going to play it out here, which is not correctly. I'll point it out here in just a moment here. Doing the Spirit for the Mausoleum, activating the Roar. And here I was supposed to special summon the Maiden back, but I think because the Max C kept, prompting me to activate, I think I just accidentally hit no when the Maiden came up thinking it was the Max C. So I have to use my extra normal summon on the Veiler, and in turn, I'm going to be giving up that negate, but it's really not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. Just wanted to point out that, yes, I know I'm not comboing correctly. I think I made a similar misclick at another duel in this video, too. If not in this video, I definitely did it during this gameplay session. I talk about how simple and easy the Blue Eyes lines are, and then I just constantly screw them up myself, but, it is what it is. But, yeah, I think Blue Eyes is still actually a very good deck, despite not really having changed much with recent releases. The game plan is still pretty much exactly the same. It still plays out pretty much exactly the same. But the double Spirit Dragon into Ultimate Spirit plus Siphier is still just a pretty good board to end on. Yeah, this extra Sage on my field really should be the Maid in my hand, but... Oh, so my opponent's going to use Ultimate Slayer here to try to get rid of the Spirit Dragon, and while I can't chain Spirit Dragon to Ultimate Slayer, I can chain True Light to Ultimate Slayer, and then chain Spirit Dragon to True Light. So, it's a fun little tactic you can use to get around certain effect restrictions there, like the one on Ultimate Slayer, but... Ultimate Slayer, thankfully, again, does target, so that means that Spirit Dragon... was the only target there. Pac-Man's going to try to push back the Ultimate Spirit Dragon, but I can use the first effect of my remaining Spirit Dragon to negate that. That's why I don't like to... sometimes I'll see Blue Eyes players like immediately during the opponent's draw phase go into the Ultimate Spirit Dragon plus Siphier. I don't like doing it right away. It does come with some drawbacks, but if you're able to get some advantage out of the regular Spirit Dragon Graveyard negate, that's really, really nice. And it's not hard for that to come up. That comes up with a lot of, against a lot of decks and against a lot of situations like this one here. But yeah, they're going to go MTP for the March Hare. I'm going to let that resolve because I have the Max C. And I'd rather like that resolve, so if my opponent has an Ash Blossom or Callby here, I'd like to use Ultimate Spirit Dragon here instead. But they don't. Max C will end up resolving. And Lancia being the first card we draw is pretty nice here. They're going to go for a Link Decoder and then activate the Maliss and Underground, to which I'm going to chain my Lancia, of course. Now here they're going to chain March Hare, but I actually decided not to chain my Ultimate Spirit Dragon. Because I figured... if they're going to go March Hare plus Link Decoder into Splash Mage, that's fine. I can just negate the Splash Mage itself. They did end up having backup Administer as their last card, which kind of makes me glad I didn't Ultimate Spirit Dragon the March Hare, because then they could have just had the Wizard Administer anyway, but... yeah, now here's the Splash Mage that I've been waiting to negate, but actually I top deck another Veiler right here, which is very convenient. It means I can just Veiler the Splash Mage and still hold on to my Ultimate Spirit Dragon Omni negate. But basically, a lot of the reason I wanted to save it for Splash Mage is also to keep Maliss monsters off their board, which would really limit my opponent as to what they're able to go into. They're going to have to go for a Transcode Talker here. Which, to be fair, situations like this are why I think Transcode is pretty good in, what do you call it, in Maliss. Yeah, I'm going to use the Ultimate Spirit Dragon on the Transcode Revive here. That'll stop it from going into the Allied Code Talker. Although, to be fair, they'd probably just go into Access Code either way here. I don't know that going into Allied Code Talker really does a lot when I can just battle over everything, right? But not worried about the Access Code either, thanks to the Siphier. Protects from destruction via both battle and card effects, so... that's always nice. Although, to be fair, they could have tried to negate, or rather destroy my Siphier after it got protected the first time, because it only protects from 1 destruction per turn. I don't think it's each battle and card effect, I think it's just one of either, but... there we go. Aside from that misclick early on, it's a pretty clean Blue Eyes game going up against Maliss here. For this next duel, it's going to be a going second game, I believe, yes, against Argostars. It's actually a Punk Argostar deck. They end up doing some Punk stuff a little bit later on in the game, but don't sleep on Argo. It's actually a pretty solid deck. They're going to go for the Terra Top right off the bat here. I thought that maybe this was some weird Maliss variant, because I have seen some Maliss decks use like the Terra Top as like just an extender, basically, to go into more bodies. I've seen a lot of weird Maliss decks, I won't lie. But yeah, they're not going to play into the Maxi at all, just setting up a bunch of the Argostars trap cards here, or a couple of them anyway. Going to go for the Lordly Load. Not going to try to negate that at all, because of course I can just normal summon the Sage and go into full combo here. I don't think I could have ashed that one anyway. I can ash the other Argostars trap because it has the ability to search an Argostars card when it's activated, but I think the one that my opponent used only bounces a spell or trap card. But in any case, definitely better to have the Lordly Load bounce than the True Light here, so I can go into full combo. There's the Maiden Revive. Yeah, that's what I meant to do last game, but again, I think I just misclicked there. Alright, going for the Spirit with Eyes of Blue. It's going to let us get the Mausoleum. Mausoleum can target the Maiden here, which will let us revive the Tuner as well. Or it should have, but then, yeah, I think I missed this prompt as well, because I did not end up reviving that Tuner, which is... I think that means I'm going to have to extra normal summon the Effect Veiler again. I mean, I guess to be fair, at least if you do screw up, you have that option to fall back on. Well, I actually don't even need to do that right off the bat, though, because I want to battle with Tyrant Dragon first, because Tyrant Dragon can attack one, or each opponent's monster once during the battle phase. They're going to try to nib me as I go to end main. We have the Crossout, so I'm not concerned about that. And we are playing the Nibiru as well. I actually think Nibiru is not that bad in Master Duel. I know that its play rate is at an all-time low, and it makes sense, right? Because Ryzeal can play around Nib like every single time. And Maliss, in theory, can play around Nibiru every time they normal summon Dormouse. I say in theory because honestly, I don't see them do it a lot. Like, even when they go normal summon Dormouse, I see a lot of people also open another extender and just play really heavily into Nib. Although I will say, if you're playing Maliss and you go normal summon Dormouse, it is a little weird if you have an extender, because you either have to, like, sub-optimally use your bodies to play around Nib, or optimally use your extender, but then play into Nibiru. So I get it, but, like, yeah, I don't know. I think Nibiru just actually does have a lot more merit than it might seem like it does in this format. Yeah, I'm not going to bother using the Ultimate Spirit Dragon against the Punk monster here because I have the Call By. Instead, I'm going to use it against the Argostars trap card, the same one that I Ash Blossomed earlier. Basically, just want to keep them off of their Argo cards and on as little engine as possible. All they're able to really do at this point is bounce a spell or trap card during each turn, which is, yeah, not enough, as my opponent knows they're going to concede here. Okay, so for this next duel here, I actually did lose the coin flip, but it's Sky Striker, so they're going to be electing to go second, giving me the first turn here. So with this hand, I'm going to pitch the Blue Eyes that I opened for the Wishes here. I'm playing 41 cards, actually. Deck, as always, will be towards the end of the video, but I'm playing 41 cards, try to not open Blue Eyes at least a little bit more often, but yeah, I'll go up to 42, or even... I don't know, 43 kind of seems like a lot. I would probably want to try to fit another starter if possible at that point. Maybe like Bingo Machine Go or Puri's map. I don't really feel like crafting Bingo Machine Go. I like never play this deck, but that would probably be the optimal card to play. Yeah, but because I discarded the in-hand to Blue Eyes for Wishes, I don't really need to set up Mausoleum here, so I'm not going to bother linking into Spirit for Eyes of Blue. Excuse me. Oh, and also because I have all the Blue Eye spell and trap cards that I need, I don't need to use the True Light effect to set one, so I can just use that to special back the Blue Eyes, and then I don't have to worry about going into Mausoleum or Spirit. Yeah, leading with the Red Eyes fusion really threw me off here. They're going to end up playing mostly Sky Striker cards. I think they're just teching the Red Eyes fusion. I guess it could be a Dragoon Turbo deck, but the fact that they made me go first makes me think it is specifically Sky Striker with all the, again, Sky Striker spells to follow here. But yeah, that really threw me off. I decided to chain both Spirit Dragons to dodge the Omni Negate of Dragoons on either of those effects. They're going to try to Call By after I play the second one, which was pretty smarter than trying to negate both at once, but I do have the crossout designator, and I can just hit the call by with that. So, yep, here is the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. I go to activate Crimson Dragon, and they actually let it resolve. To be fair, even if they had tried to negate, I could have simply negated with Ultimate Spirit Dragon because that doesn't target. Sifir actually protecting the back row here from the Disrupting Wave Jammer, whatever that Sky Striker spell is called. Alright, now here they're going to search for the Widow Anchor and activate. I'm going to, of course, negate with Ultimate Spirit Dragon. But then they change Droplet here on both of my monsters, which actually kind of is a misplay on their part. Although, to be fair, even if they had taken my Sifir, they couldn't have really done anything with it, right? They can't summon anymore because of the Red Eyes fusion, so they can't link it off. And they can't switch his position because I just summoned it this turn. So, maybe I didn't need to Ultimate Spirit Dragon there, but either way, because the Droplet negated my monster, the Widow Anchor was unable to take it, because Widow Anchor negates and then takes control. But you can't negate a monster who's already been negated, so yeah. That is why they were unsuccessful there. They're going to try to take my Spirit Dragon here, but thankfully I have the Neo Blue Eyes effect. Although, to be fair, again, I think I could have just let that go, because they can't really do anything with a defense mode Spirit Dragon anyway. As I mentioned before, Red Eyes Fusion says you can't summon anymore for the rest of the turn, so it's not like they can link it off or anything. They're going to use Dark Dragoon to negate my Ether Barrel here, pitching another Red Eyes Fusion in order to do so. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to use True Late to revive the Blue Eyes White Dragon, and we need a way to be able to out this Dragoons, which can't be targeted or destroyed by battle. So that's why I'm actually going to link off my Blue Eyes with the Spirit Dragon for Erratic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres, which has a bounce effect that obviously doesn't destroy, and it also doesn't target. Now here they're going to go to battle phase, forcing me to use the Spheres F. They end up having a call by, so they don't even have to use the Dragoon negate. Yeah, I mean, that really would have played out for me either way, right? Because even if it wasn't call by, it's not like I can imperm the Dragoons that can't be targeted. Okay, they're going to pop my Maiden of White into phase. I'm going to special Blue Eyes with the True Light, which will in turn revive the Maiden again. Now, the Hieratic Seal is not the only out to Dragoon I have in my extra deck. I think this is going to be the first time I actually end up summoning this card in particular, but I'm going to revive my other Blue Eyes with the True Light on my turn, and then overlay the two of them for Indigo Eyes Silver Dragon, which has 4,000 attack and a non-targeting negate on summon. That would have dropped the Dragoons down to 3,000 attack points and allowed me to battle over it, so that's why my opponent conceded there. Alright, last duel for this video is going to be a Blue Eyes Mirror match. I'm going to be going second here. My opponent's going to lead with normal summon Ether Barrel. I'm going to chain the effect Veiler on it, as I would like to not have to deal with the Drill Beam if possible. And we do have the Nibiru here in case they do end up going full combo. Blue Eyes is still pretty susceptible to Nibiru a lot of the time. As you saw during that one game, we had a cross out for it, but it would have wrecked us pretty hard otherwise. Turns out that they do have a Lordly Load to be able to search the Drill Beam, which is going to be a bit of a problem for me. This game is going to highlight really more than anything how Blue Eyes can pivot from, you know, this kind of combo play style to a control play style as well with the Drill Beam. And they're definitely playing around the Nibiru specifically as they're stopping on 4 summons here. Excuse me. Try to go to the Magnum Hut, not only for the search, but to maybe provoke them to summon a little bit more. And sure enough, they do end up going into the spheres. Yeah, I'm going to drop Nib here and not have to deal with the spheres on my turn. Also, getting the Blue Eyes off of their board means the Drill Beam isn't live anymore. Although, to be fair, they can summon off the Spheres F because the Nibiru does tribute. And they're actually going to summon Jet Dragon, which I'm not playing Jet Dragon in my build, but I don't think it's a bad card. I think where Jet Dragon really shines is actually in situations exactly like this one, when you're in a more slow kind of grindy game, right? Because the Jet Dragon can continuously revive, it prevents destruction, it can bounce cards, which, yeah, again, if you're just popping off on turn 1, that's not really going to come up, but in game states like this, it absolutely will. Gonna use my Typhone here in order to get rid of the Nib token, as we need to be able to out that. Battling into the Jet Dragon does bounce my Nibiru, but at least we have it off the field. So we know the face down card is Drill Beam. Opponent gets to add Ether Barrel back to hand here. And yeah, that imperm against my Ether Barrel is going to end up being pretty devastating here, as I don't have access to Drill Beam, and that's really going to matter. I mean, obviously, if I'd been able to Drill Beam their Ether Barrel, we would be all set. But now, they set another Lordly Load, added another Ether Barrel, which means their Drill Beam is just perpetually live as long as they have that Ether Barrel or another Primite card in hand. So they get to revive Blue Eyes here, again, further cementing how live their Drill Beam is. And yeah, as I mentioned before, the Jet Dragon just continuously revives, prevents destruction, bounces stuff. And at this point, the game is pretty much just lost. I don't really have any realistic means of coming back, almost no matter what I top deck, and certainly top decking another Lordly Load didn't help. I think I also misclicked again. This was where I misclicked again, yeah, because I missed my Ether Barrel prompt to add back to my hand during standby phase. Again, not that it really would have mattered here, you know, I just have infinite Lordly Loads anyway, and my opponent is able to use Drill Beam control to put a stop to that. Yeah, I'll do some desperate flailing here in the terms of, you know, summoning this Blue Eyes here, but I'm already at 3k life points. This duel is pretty much already lost. I think the main reason I didn't concede at this point was for mission credit for dailies, but there we go. Opponent getting to finish me off with a burst stream of destruction as well from the Blue Eyes. Hey, you know, if I had to lose to something, I'm glad it was the mirror match for a video like this. But yeah, here's my build. It's really standard. There's really not a ton going on here that's out of the ordinary. And as mentioned before, I kind of think that is true of Blue Eyes as a whole. This deck really doesn't need to be doing anything new or fancy to be keeping up with the meta. I still think that this is a top 5 deck in Master Duel right now. You don't see nearly as many people playing Blue Eyes nowadays, but I think that ability to play both the combo and control game that we saw in this video is really what helps establish Blue Eyes in this meta. Plus, it is still a pretty strong deck. Like, the double Spirit Dragon might not seem like a lot, but again, if you're using the negates wisely, trying to get in that first effect of the Spirit Dragon when possible, as well as, of course, going into Ultimate Spirit Dragon Sephir, it is still quite strong, quite strong. And, of course, the ability to play Dominus Purge is another pretty unique strength. Pretty much the only meta deck that can at the moment, as far as I'm aware of, but... Alright, as we're wrapping up, showing off the cards in the extra deck here, I think I'm also going to be wrapping up this video. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching and supporting the channel, especially by watching all the way to the end like this. That is always a huge help. Extra huge shout out to the people who find the deck primers helpful and have been supporting those. I really enjoy making these. These are definitely my favorite videos to make. But I do also still want to make some more live action gameplay, as well as I want to get into more combo guides and stuff. So if there's any, not just combo guides, but also just like explaining tech choices or how to pick techs for any given format. I know I had some comments recently requesting for a Memento combo guide. I would love to work on the deck primer for that. If you have anything else you want to see, let me know in the comments below. I always appreciate that feedback. It is extremely helpful. But all right, let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Thank you so much, everybody, as always, for watching. Let us thank our patrons and YouTube members by moving on to the outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which, by the way, is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.